Hi, my name is Veronica, and welcome to the show Across the Street to Wooden Park.
Hi, I'm
And my
Tony.
co-host,
Oops.
Tony. Oopsie, sorry.
You would think after 10 of these we would be better at this.
Work in progress, Tony.
Okay, but we are at episode 11.
I was trying to figure out today what would I like to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually not even a problem because I have all these ideas about different things that I would like to talk
Yeah,
about.
it's never a problem to get you talking about something.
Well, you know, Tony, that's just who we are. You know, that's how we're built. We're very chatty, or what's another word?
Another word that we could use on this family-friendly show, I'm not sure. We'll just stick with chatty.
We'll stick with chatty. So friends for me is actually a very profound word. It's a very it's very significant because first of all, good friends are hard to come by. We know a lot of people, but to have good friends,
Mm-hmm.
many people use the cliche, "Oh, you can count them with one hand," and that's probably true, though. You know, but growing up, I feel in my heart of hearts, I did have a lot of friends, a lot of good friends, and like I don't know if I ever said this, but I think for me, those were the happiest times in my life. Obviously, as a kid,
Mm-hmm.
because I have different happy times now, you know, in my life now.
Good save.
Yeah, so you know, and I remember when you had good friends, you would do so many different things to seal what a good friend was. You would do like a pinky lock, you know, and you would swear we'll be best friends forever.
So is this
And I
when you
think,
kind of like a little handshake with your pinkies?
yeah.
You used to do this?
Yeah, it was, yeah, it's like, oh, friends, you know, friends forever, and, you know,
Okay, how old were
and
you when you were doing
pinky
this?
swear. I think it was like, um, I want to say maybe like
Mm-hmm.
8, 9. Yeah.
Who were your pinky friends? Do you remember any of them?
Yeah. Can I only say like the first names?
Yeah,
Is that
that's
cool?
that's
Yeah.
enough.
I actually want to say a really, really good friend, Arlene.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there's,
Where did
Nil.
how did you meet Arlene? Did she live in your neighborhood?
Well, pretty much, I think the names I'm gonna say are people who lived on our block or in our
Uh-huh.
neighborhood or we went to school with. Yeah, but Arlene, she was a very good friend, and I could still say that even though we don't talk, we haven't spoken in a while.
Uh-huh.
If we were to catch up, you know, we would pick up from where we left off,
Uh-huh.
you know.
Now,
And then
did she come from a similar family or a similar home from you, or was it a little different?
no, completely different from my home, my family structure. She she was very fortunate, and I say this genuinely, with a good heart and good thoughts, to have everything that we all want in this country. You know,
Mm.
I think she had a very good family. Um, she was raised by mom and dad, and it seemed like she she um she had what we all wanted, you know,
Mm.
which was the Winnebago. Well, I don't think we wanted a Winnebago, but we wanted our own home, which is what she had. You know, we had an apartment. She had her home, and she would take the summer trips, you know, and she had pretty clothes, and that was nice. And I don't think we were ever jealous. It was just nice to see that she had it. I
Mm.
don't know if we really knew what jealousy was, you know. I don't think we said, God, I wish I had that.
Really?
Well, even if we did, it wouldn't matter because we wouldn't get it. So
Yeah. It's nice to want things.
yeah, it's nice to want things, but I think we made everything work, you know. Um, Another good friend that I had was Nilda, and she was, I want to say she was my best friend. She's Puerto Rican.
Okay, so I could understand. I can understand Nilda. You guys probably come from similar backgrounds or situations. But how,
No, not at all, because
really?
she was very well off too. Her parents, she to very a very loving home.
Uh-huh.
It looked like the Latino Brady Bunch.
So how does little
She also
Lucky
took their trips to like Puerto Rico and stuff.
how
So
does little Lucky fit in with this crowd? How did you get in? Was it easy for you to make friends with people who are a little different economically or class wise or something?
yeah, I don't know if I ever actually thought about that. I don't remember. I don't really remember thinking about that. I mean, there were kids who were economically like us as well. There was Diana and Olga, Mexican. I
Uh-huh.
think half Mexican, half Puerto Rican. Um, they had, I don't want to say similar to us, but yeah, sort of similar to us. And then there was Cheque. Actually, his name is Ezekiel, but we call him Cheque. I don't know
Uh-huh.
why. Um, but they owned their house. Actually, most of the people, now, now that I think about it,
I
I actually think we were the poor
You're the
poor
poor
family.
ones. When you go over to your
Yeah.
friend's house, what were you
What?
ever like, oh, I have to take my shoes off here, or this is a nice house, or oh,
Yeah.
they
You
have
know
the
what?
they have the name brand cereal.
Yeah, and you know what? When we would go to Nilda's house, as soon as you would walk in, the house was really nice and clean, but you had that nice food smell, like home cooked food. It was very welcoming,
Uh-huh.
you know. Um, well, I mean, we had food too, but hers, it just it felt very cozy, very, you know, yeah, it was
Welcoming and
nice.
warm and homely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, but everybody, it was. Now that I think about it, everybody had different economics, but I think we were. I mean, we weren't like playing with sticks and rocks.
Uh-huh.
Well, I did play with rocks.
You did play with rocks at an earlier
I,
show you talked about.
I did play with rocks, but yeah, wow. And we also had another friend. His name was Ricky. His mom was a teacher at Kosciuszko. We all went to Kosciuszko school. Well, no, not at all, because I think Milda went to a Catholic school. Yeah, I think she went to St. Stan's. St. Stan's. Yeah. So, oh wow. Okay. Well, this kind of sheds light.
And
See,
then
the more I think
everyone
about
on the
stuff,
first day of
the more.
school, there was a little drive, and everyone collected cans of food and extra school supplies for you so you can attend school.
No, no. I mean, Tony, you know what? I probably don't remember a lot of things, obviously, but
Uh-huh.
I think I remember more the fun stuff. But now when I go back into my files of memory,
Yes.
I remember these. Yeah, they were yeah, they were doing pretty well because all these friends I just talked about, they had their own homes.
But they were your true friends, so that wasn't ever an issue
You
or
know
something
what?
you
That
saw.
was
They were
never
just.
an issue because they were our true friends. They were my true friends. Yeah.
So what kind of things did you do with these friends?
We played at the park.
Hmm.
We played at Wooden Park. So we would leave our economics behind. We would leave whatever was going on at home behind
Uh-huh.
and go to the park and play. And I think that's where we were all the same,
Uh-huh.
you know. That's where we all came as one and 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 to think about how had we back then had smartphones or Nintendo or man, we didn't even have Sega. Or what's that other one that came out at first?
Atari.
Atari. We didn't have that. But had we had that, I don't think I would have all these great memories of playing with my friends. And I'm thinking, how is it that people today play? How do kids play? And I hear people, friends at work, talking about scheduling play dates or going to restaurants where they have like little jumping bean places or whatever. Those what do they call those places where these kids go inside and play around
Oh, those
and
like indoor gym things.
yeah, yeah, and the idea that you can't really run around and just let yourself go and be free and have fun. And they are probably having fun. It's different fun. But I don't know, I just feel that it's timed, it's limited, it's structured,
Mm.
you know.
So today's kids don't have the same kind of ability to explore or create their own fun or just have that chance to be free with their playtime and stuff like that.
That's just my opinion, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Yeah, and I wonder, how do you establish friends when you're actually, it's your parents who are creating your friends because they're scheduling play dates, you know, as opposed to you being outside and playing with kids down the block or next door, and these are who you these will be your friends now, you know.
Mm-hmm. So it's pretty much like the parents' social networks and people who are on their friends list, and
They become their kids' friends.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, in some ways, my friends were sometimes the kids of your friends,
But very few, I think.
but that's where like my early best friends came from.
Which ones?
Mario. I was friends with Mario because you were friends with his mom, Laura.
But we never scheduled play dates. We
Yeah, we
never.
did. We asked, hey, could I go hang out with, can you take me to his house? And you would call his mom and you guys would figure it
But
out a little bit. We didn't live next to each other.
but see, that's the difference too. All of my friends, we lived next to each other. We lived on the same block.
Yeah, so I wouldn't have been friends with them unless you were friends with her.
Right, but do you have friends that you created on the block?
Yeah, I had
Well,
those too.
well, but very few because we moved around quite a bit.
Yeah, I always had
I'm
to
so
make new sets of friends.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But
I
yeah,
could have no
that's
across the street show when I get older because I was always across the street from somewhere new.
okay. But do you have memories of
Yeah,
any
yeah.
like like
My last childhood home that I have the fondest memories, of growing up with kids there and playing basketball and skateboarding.
and see and obviously there's circumstances that get you to this place, but you were already older,
Well, no,
right?
I was 11, 12.
11, okay.
So, coming of
See,
age.
yeah, and for me, I think like a lot of my my I want to say good memories are from like between 8 and 12,
Your
you
prime
know.
years.
Yeah, those were my prime years.
What kind of friend were you? Were you a very dependable, reliable friend? Were you a helpful friend?
I think I was a very sympathetic friend.
Example.
I think I cared too much about situations. I I think I was always too concerned about what would happen if we did something. I didn't want somebody to get in trouble, or I was always playing it too safe. You know, even though I was always outside playing, I always wanted to be outside playing. I was always I would worry too much. I was always and I was always concerned about other people, or like, what if, I knew I was gonna get in trouble, but I always worried about other people that I had no control over.
So sometimes this person in the group gets the label of goody two shoes. Were you that
That
girl?
was me. Yeah.
I think I was that too with my friends
And you
in
know
high
what's
school.
really sad? That somebody today told me that too.
You can never escape it.
No, no, and I'm 50, and.
Well, this has to be in like kind of you have to be kind of an opposite or foil for your older sister in that way because I could see her being the type who would just kind of take a bigger risk or push everyone or kind of be the leader of trying something new. Am I right
Sh-
or wrong in that?
you're absolutely right. Um, my older sister, let's just say nobody messed with her.
Uh-huh.
She wasn't a bully. She just nobody crossed her. She was a tough cookie.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah, so I could see people
and
think.
she's still that today.
Did you guys have the same circles of friends?
We did, yeah, we did. And we were known as Sandra and Veronica on the
Your your,
block.
your names, fantastic.
No, but we were always together, so it was always Sandra and Veronica, Sandra and Veronica. It wasn't just like Veronica or Sandra. The only, not the only, the biggest, saddest thing for me growing up was not having too many memories of growing up with my younger sister, Debbie.
Hmm. But she
Because
was kind of
we're
much
7
younger.
years apart.
Hmm.
She was younger, but I don't have that many memories of doing things with her, except having to walk from Zenith, the factory where my dad didn't pick us up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Please listen to episode 1 for that classic story.
Um,
Well, that's the same thing though with me and my younger sister. We're the same difference. And growing up, she was just like,
but you guys are best friends.
but that comes much later.
Even to the no, I think you
But
guys
that,
have always been really tight.
yeah, like, but if I would easily, when I was younger, choose my friends over her, and she was an inconvenience. Like, oh, hold on, I have to take my sister home or home.
Really?
Yeah,
I never saw that.
because you weren't home. You
Well,
were busy
well,
working or something.
or
But
going to school?
yeah, so and of course she was at that time. I didn't want to be followed by my younger sister, and my friends didn't want to be followed by their younger sisters. I think everyone had sisters 7 years younger than them on our block, for some reason.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, George, Felipe, Larry, they all had uh, sisters a little younger than them. Um, so yeah, that was a pain in the butt, and but not until we. I mean, we were when it was just us two. We were always very close,
Yeah.
and now we're closer. But that's just probably how it is. She wouldn't be able to hang out with you guys. She wouldn't keep up with you guys playing kick the can down the street, right?
Or pitch the penny.
Yeah, she would be a liability in all of those cases. Right? No one would pick her for the kickball team.
Right, but it's like when it's like it's so drastic. It's so drastic. This huge gap of all these empty years.
Because
Does that make any sense?
yeah, because when you're 11 and she's 3, you're 4 times her age.
Yeah.
You're not 7 years older or 8 years older. You're much older. So it's not until later
Well, that's
that
my parents' fault.
okay, if
You
you're
know.
gonna blame them for when they had their children, I mean,
I
they're
think
not here to
that's I
defend
think that's
themselves.
my biggest regret of how much I enjoyed growing up during those years
Uh-huh.
of my happiness. I think it would have been completely perfect had I had more memories of growing up with her. But that's the one thing that holds it back from being perfect.
Uh-huh.
You know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I want to get back to Goody Two Shoes Lukey.
Okay.
Did you ever? Sometimes friends will kind of turn on one friend for a while or a day. Did they ever like? Was that ever thrown at you like in a way that really upset you? Like, oh, geez, Luki, why can't you be more like your sister Sandra? Why? Come on, we're just gonna jump the fence or something. Did you ever feel,
Oh, like pure pressure
yeah,
or
or like, like you were kind of this, you fit this role and
I don't think I felt that, I feel that pretty much I went with the flow, you know. I think we were for the most part on the same page.
okay.
We just rolled with it. It wasn't like, oh, let's go do this, or it wasn't competitive.
Uh-huh.
And it's it's not ironic, but it's cool to think that we weren't into like drugs or smoking or drinking
Uh-huh.
or gangs. We steered from that because that starts at a very young age, and especially because we were always on the street. You think we would have been more exposed to it
Uh-huh.
or more susceptible to being a part of that. And I think because regardless of how busy my family always was, I think they were always there for us so that we didn't feel that we needed to look for an outside family, meaning the gangs.
Uh-huh.
So we had our friends who were our friends, but we didn't feel peer pressure to do things we didn't want to do. And I think sometimes we were competitive, you know, who can jump higher or who can do a wheelie on a bike. I couldn't do a wheelie on a bike. Um, there was, I think the skateboards were big in the 70s. My sister got a skateboard. She had a beautiful blue fiberglass skateboard. Other kids had skateboards, but I was like a chicken. I'm not gonna say a bad word. I was, yeah. So I didn't want a skateboard. I was cool with the roller skates. But I think like all kids, we were competitive at one point or another. But overall, we gelled. We played well together. I mean, that's just my opinion. Maybe they have a completely different opinion about how I feel. And we looked out for each other too. I remember one of my friends, her name is Alice. Her family was opening a taco stand, La Pasadita. And she told me, oh, you got to come and check out my family's restaurant. And I'm like, I can't, I don't have money. She's like, don't worry about it. And I'm like, well, I can't go to the restaurant if I'm not going to eat. So I remember she gave me $2 to go with her after school one day to go eat. And I'm like, where'd you get this from? And she's like, oh, I got it from the cash register. So she swiped $2 so that I could go to the restaurant with her to go eat a taco and have a pop, which is so cool. Now they're doing very well. They have these restaurants all over the States. And I think I graduated with like three of the family members from La Pasadita.
Uh-huh.
Um, and they're all doing very well, and
Do
I'm
you,
very happy for them.
do you feel compelled to return that $2?
I should, right? Because I'm doing well now, so
Yeah,
not as well, not as well as them though.
that'll
But
be always the story of you and your friends.
yeah, but that was really nice. She gave me $2. I think the taco was 90 cents, and the pop I think it was 35 cents. So I had like money left over still.
Okay. Get some candy on the way home. What's the interest on that $2 now?
I don't know. It was a gift though. It wasn't a loan.
Okay.
But I mean, there were so many great stories, that we had with our friends. Just it was something like that movie Stand By Me. I think is that what the
Mm-hmm.
name was?
Yeah.
Did I say the name right?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, but we didn't find like a person in the river or something like that.
Okay. Good. That would actually lead off the podcast if you wanted to tell a
No,
story
I
though.
think you know what? I haven't even seen that movie from beginning to end. But I think I heard somebody say that that's part of the story.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
think I've seen kids walking on tracks,
yep.
but I have never really seen the movie. So
Want
I've
to
seen a little bit.
yeah, want to see a dead body, and then they go to the forest and they
No,
find it. That's what they
no.
say.
Oh, is that what they, oh, I thought you were asking me.
No, I'm not offering. I'm
But
quoting.
but it was cool because, you know, we were like those kids that we had like boogies running down our nose
Oh, awesome. Cool kids.
and and I can't, and our clothes was not like spiffy clean, you know. It was like,
Oh,
you know, it was like you
I would be
just
so pleased to be Arlene's father, and here comes poor Lukey, uh, walking her way into our house covered in soot and boogies running down her nose and touching all my white furniture. Watch out, she
but
might steal $2 from us.
that's one thing I never did, Tony. That's one thing I never did. My
Good.
mother always said it's better to ask. Okay, I forgot what the quote is. What is it? Oh, there's no shame in asking, but there's shame in getting caught stealing. Okay, I said
So her great wisdom for you was to not steal. Actually,
it.
it wasn't not to steal; it was to not get caught stealing.
Well, no, there's no, no, not to steal. Don't steal. That's not a good thing. But I don't know. What do you think? What's your take on my friends? I mean, and I really didn't share a whole lot of stories about my friends, just a few. But
No, I think it's I think I don't know if I got that from you, but I grew up. My best friends come from all different backgrounds, and that's probably my favorite thing about them. Is I have friends who live, in like $1 million houses, and friends who have small apartments, and everyone's situation was different, and everyone looks different and speaks differently and has a very different last name, and we were able to be friends and be very strong and tight friends. And I
okay,
don't know if I got that from you directly or through osmosis or what have you or what, but yeah, and it's valuable. Makes for
okay,
makes for good people.
absolutely, I agree with you. I think that it just happens, and when you embrace everybody, you know, good people that come your way, and you allow them to be a part of your life, you know, it's nice. It's good. You know, it's something we don't have today because people right away immediately see you and judge or set up, you know, put up all these walls and barriers and because we don't have similar last names or different religions or what have you. And that's such an unfortunate feeling, unfortunately, but on a lighter note.
So how does a lot of these childhood friend groups just kind of dissipate and naturally kind of just end? A kid moves out of the block, everyone goes to different high schools. How did it end for you guys, for the gang across the street to Woodland Park?
When my parents bought the house on Keystone back in 1979.
How far is this from Woodland Park?
That's on Pulaski and Division.
Okay, so for those of
So,
people who aren't aware with or have Google Maps pulled up right now, is this
yeah,
across
so
town? How far is this?
this is about, I want to say, it's like 4 miles going west from Ashland to Pulaski.
Okay.
And yeah, so it's about, I mean, if you were to drive it, it's probably like a 20-minute drive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Back then it seemed like really, really far.
Mm-hmm.
But
What?
yeah, I mean, at first when we moved, some of our friends would still come out and visit, and they actually helped us move because we rented a truck, and a lot of our friends just like helped us carry all the stuff into the truck, and we didn't hire like those movies that you see on TV with matching shirts and their name and the logo on the shirt. It was
Now
just a
those
bunch
don't
of.
those don't only exist on TV. Other people actually use those services, but okay, it's not
It was
something
a
made
bunch.
up.
It was a bunch of 13, 14-year-old kids helping us
Yeah,
unload the truck. Talk about child labor, right? Um,
I mean,
yeah. So
did
go
you
ahead.
feel like you were going to lose your friends, or did you think you would still be able to?
I thought we were still gonna be friends forever because we did that whole pinky swear. That whole,
Mm-hmm,
that whole thing where we'll be friends forever and ever. And no, it just happens. You know, it just happens where people eventually do drift apart.
mm-hmm,
And and I guess, well, now I'm glad we have social media so I can make an attempt to see if I can find some of my friends,
mm-hmm.
because I would like to find some of my friends. So if you guys are listening, um, hi. What would be a good way? I don't know what to say. I don't know.
Okay,
What would
this.
be a good thing to? Oh
Thank
my
you
God,
so
my
much
stomach
for
hurts for laughing.
listening to this week's episode of Across the Street to Wooden Park.
Can we edit that?
No, um,
Please.
you can listen to all our episodes at acrossthestreettowoodenpark.com. And soon you will find all these shows also part of a new thing coming soon. Maybe we'll tell you about later. But this will be part of a new thing. But you will always be able to go to that website and listen to all the episodes for sure. And you can find it in iTunes, and you could subscribe, and you'll never miss an episode. And you could share it with your family and your friends, especially this episode. I think this is a good one to share with your friends. I hope, I'm worried if La Pasadita hears this and then they want their $2 and then you get served or something. But we're going to just take that risk.
I will gladly pay back those $2 with interest. Oh my God, what would the interest be on that now?
And inflation? I don't know.
Huh.
How much is a taco nowadays?
All I know is that we went with Sandra the other day and the burrito was $8.
Oof.
Yeah. So I think the tacos are like three
Yeah, they're
something.
like over $3.
Yeah, because the burritos back then were like close to 3. Oh my goodness, I owe them a lot of money.
Yeah, I think like $10-15.
Shh, it's our secret.
Okay. So thanks
Okay,
everyone for listening.
thank you.